Peace, family. We should be live right now. Peace to everybody. Peace to everybody. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Thanks for being patient with your brother as usual. Oh man, we're gonna have a great show tonight. Uh, Dr. B back in the building. Before we get started and I bring on Dr. B, I want y'all to get comfortable. Very important to hit that like button. If anybody didn't subscribe, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can get notified. Hopefully, if I go live, I got to get back my text messaging service. But besides that, family, make sure you hit the like button. All right, get comfortable. Tell your friends and family. Share the link with loved ones. This is something that my folks need to hear tonight. All right, let's get to this commercial and we'll be right back.
Are you ready to win? Are you seeking the best in life? Are you seeking to raise your vibration? Are you seeking to no longer drift, but move gently towards your goals? Billy Carson and myself will be presenting sacred information about finances, how to be wealthy, how to be healthy, be wise. Many people have been asking, what is God power? God power is when you are now co-creating your life. You're living life on purpose. You're not waiting for things to happen. You're making things happen. You're letting go of the past, letting go of the things that were holding you back, letting go of the things that were heavy in your life, and raising your vibration and taking everything you have and moving it towards a destination. You are a winner. You were born a winner. It's time to tap into the winning circle. Become the winner's circle. You are the champion. All you need is the blueprint for the God power that's already in you.
Man, if there was an award, if they had like an award for commercial of the year, that would win, family. Tell me that commercial don't get y'all hype. It's like a Rocky type energy, like you training for something. You training for the God power, man. Dr. B and the beat that I put down there, man, it was like a perfect combination. You notice, you know what's deep? Dr. B was so in tune when he was like, oh, what he said? No longer. You went like this with your body. You said no longer. What did you say? No longer. Do you remember what you said?
No longer will you I don't know what I
Straight,
said,
no
man.
longer straight something. It was like your body was in rhythm with the talking. It was just that commercial was a masterpiece, and I'm thankful to be a channel to deliver that message to you, because we're talking about the unknown and darkness and the hidden treasures in darkness. And I put up a post about an hour ago, thanking everybody. I got about 12 million views this year on this channel, Dr. B.
Wow.
12 million, yeah. And I put up a post thanking the family. And last year, that the idea for me to step it up on the channel and to take it to the next level, it was a treasure that came from darkness, family. And I don't know how to describe it with words. We're moving in this era of telepathy, and we're going to be using words less and less. So I'm going to try my best to communicate with it. But it was just amazing to get that channel from this unknown place that I can't describe and to act on it with my passion. And it's an undescribable feeling. And that's something that we wish to help individuals do with this workshop. I mean, as Dr. B takes his tonics, I mean, amazing tonics. I took the mushroom one a little while ago, but it's just amazing, family. And before we start, I'm not okay. I'll do that later on. We'll do that. I'm gonna do that later. But to start out, because I like the way we're flowing right now. To start out, Dr. B, once again, thank you. Welcome back to the program, my brother. It's always a pleasure having you on here. Yeah, shout out to the person who said they just got their ticket. Dr. B, we're talking about the hidden treasures of darkness. I just said the inspiration to take my channel to the next level this year just came out of nowhere from darkness. It wasn't something that I can predict. The idea for this workshop, Dr. B, just came out of nowhere. It's like when you know how you plan for a fight and you're ready for fight, you're ready to take a blow. It's like I wasn't ready for this idea. It just hit me out of nowhere. It's like I'm not waiting. I'm not there like, okay, the idea is going to come, it's going to go. It just comes out of nowhere. And it's like you have to be ready to receive it, to interpret it, and then ready to act on it. And it's the most, I keep saying the most beautiful is the best word to describe the feeling of getting messages from darkness, from nothingness. It's just, it's beautiful, Dr. B. And I truly wish that the rest of the family could tap into this unlimited reserve, this unlimited omnipotent energy that exists within nothingness, within darkness, these treasures. We're rich. I mean, I don't want to use the word filthy. We're infinite, as Ralph Smart would say. But Dr. B, talk to me about this unknown place. Not matter that we could see. Not okay. He's going to give me that so and so. I'm just talking about a complete unknown place that we get inspired to move and to create in this realm. Let's have a great conversation about this unknown place because we're going to go deep there on the 7th. But I know you got a special message for the family tonight, Dr. B.
Well, first of all, it's an honor to be here at this time on the planet.
It is, yes.
And to be delivering these ideas and these messages that come from nowhere. See, nowhere is actually everywhere. When we say nowhere, that means it's everywhere. It's no place you can point because it's everywhere. We're enveloped. We're engulfed in this darkness. And 90% of what we know of as the world, as the universe, is actually dark. Possibly even more. There's going to be talk that's going to say different numbers. Just get that in your mind. 90% of this is dark. Everything came from darkness. So when you say nowhere, that means no one place. It's everywhere. The ideas, right, come from the ID when you have found a point of light in the darkness. When you say, I am in total darkness, but I have an idea of where I'd like to go, a direction. You're casting into that darkness this notion of being. First, just you got to be. That's the biggest challenge is folks are trying to be instead of being.
Yes, yes.
Trying. That means you're not doing it. You're working at it. And the work is work. That's war. You're fighting. You're struggling. It's the path of resistance. In darkness, there is no resistance because everything is there. Everything is available. That's the place that we must go. That's the place where the fish are. If you were a fisher person, you want to go to the darkest part of the lake. And you got to sit quietly. But you got to have an idea of what it is that you would like. So this idea started a long time ago that came from you. It's been traveling forever like the light of the stars. Some of those stars are not in the sky anymore. Some of those stars have been gone for millions, possibly billions of years, but the light from those stars is just getting here now. You are just seeing that particular light. You are seeing the radiance and the energy and the vibration of that star that may not even actually be there now.
That's deep.
Because things are traveling right at a rate and a speed that we can't totally comprehend. Some things are so slow you can't comprehend it. Some things are so fast you can't comprehend it. But what you do is you're able to be in this space and use your imagination. I am a nation. I am a genie nation. I'm a nation of genies. I am a generator within the nation. I am the nation that has come together, my mitochondria that have come together and call it we now, are already traveling. We're already there. We're just collecting these waves into matter and calling ourselves whatever, but the ideas are already there. And that's the place that we have to go, because the darkness is where everything is at. That's where your stuff is. That's where all possibilities are. We're looking to the light. We've becoming so enlightened. Oh boy, we're enlightened. That means you know more stuff. You want to know more stuff. You read books. And you find you just know more stuff. So, but the stuff that you don't know, there's more. See, there's a study called epistemology. Epistemology is the study of the limits of knowledge. Look it up. It's a weird thing. What do you mean? They got people who get, this is their career. They get paid for this, to study the limits of knowledge. And we find out that knowledge is limitless. But what we're talking about is the amount of limitation we have put on knowledge. Because our ego gets in it, and we want to define things and break them down so that we can be able to control it or understand it. So when you realize that the darkness is where all your stuff is at, because a lot of clients, and many years I had clients, and they would always be afraid to go into the darkness. So we got to go into the unknown, the darkness. Well, I don't want to go there. Well, if you got a problem, you got an issue, you've got a challenge, if you got an illness or a malady or an imbalance or something, well, we're going to have to go to the place that you haven't been, which is the darkness. But people are afraid to go into the darkness because you were taught to be afraid of it. Why? That's because that's the place where anything is possible. And where anything is possible is where you can actually regenerate, germinate, and create anything out of that darkness once you are able to transmute yourself and get out of your head, because your head is full of light. It's all knowledge. What I think I know. How many books I read? I read the whole book in one night. Man, some people read books, they highlighted the whole book. I bought a book once, the whole book was a used book, man. The whole book was a highlight. I was like, why didn't they just read the book? I mean, I couldn't even read it because some pages were orange and some were yellow and some were green. I'm like, man, how many highlighters did they use to highlight this book? That's the highlight. You see? But the low light, the dark light, that's everything. That's where the sperm, when it goes into the egg, it dies. It suffocates in the darkness. It can only do this in darkness. So they talk about Christ and, oh boy, and he was, crucified and they put him in the cave. That's darkness. Jonah was in the belly of the whale. They're talking about darkness. Moses is up on the mountain. Muhammad is in the cave. And that's when the angels, that's when the ideas, that's when the ancestors, that's when the beings that are creating the darkness are able to use you. But when we've studied so much, right, and we're so much in our head, and we think we know, and we got a huge ego, and we know all about these things, we are actually missing the maximum. We got to learn how to maximize the minimum. So in other words, let's say you know a lot of stuff, right? So, okay, you know all that stuff. Take that stuff and put it to the side. What don't you know? Take the what you do in no way know and maximize that. And you're always going to find that this super creativity comes in the arc. The arc. Dark is D. Arc. What's D? A, B, C, D. That's a 4. It's the 4th letter in this particular alphabet, whatever you want to call it. So 4 basically represents art, culture, and freeness. That's your square. That's like your foundation. So if you look at it and say, let's take the art, which is total creativity, which comes from dark. True art comes from nothing. True art, the original art isn't about modeling and taking pieces and samples and looping them all together. There's an art to that. But the original art is when you start with nothing at all. When you create something from nothing, something from total darkness. That place that you can't see, you can't perceive it. It's nowhere. It's no place. But it's every place. It's all around you. It's in you. So when we realize that 4 is art, culture. Culture is what? The thing you're in, the thing you follow, or your space, or your world is your culture. Right? And you become free because you can tap into the nowhere. That's where all healing happens. That's why they say when a person is going through a lot, they got to sleep. Let them sleep. And they need rest, and let them sleep. It's not that they need rest. They need darkness, because that's when the body regenerates. That's when the cells rejuvenate. In that dark place. So if you take, art, culture, and freeness and put it in an arc is a small piece of a spiral. True spirituality comes from taking the darkness and expanding the darkness. Expanding darkness by one. Let me give you an example of dark. So in language, darkness would be quiet, no speaking. Like mystery, the word mystery basically means no tongue. It can't be explained. True mysteries you can't explain. So, you watch these shows, the mystery of the UFOs and the mystery of the Wolfman. And at the end of it, they say it's still a mystery. You watch the show for an hour. But, that's because you can't really explain something that's unexplainable. It's part of the limits of knowledge, but it's the limits of language. It's the limits of our minds. And once we get out of the place and you get knocked out, see, a lot of times you're unconscious. You get knocked out. Something happens. Sometimes you might take something or use something or have an event that happens where you're off. You're unconscious. You're gone for a little while. That's when the body is beginning to collect itself again. So, but when we're silent, that's like being in darkness. That's when you can create, when you be silent. And, it's interesting because, a lot of folks who have been in solitary confinement have said, at first they were going crazy in solitary. They lost it at some point. A lot of people didn't really come back from that. But then there are people who said, I got to this place of peace and calm, and I met myself. So what do you mean you met yourself? Yeah, I met myself, because who I am is not who I really am. Who I have been is based on the idea and the ideals that were given to me that told me who I was. I mean, look at, the society today teaches you how to feel. They tell you what to think. Somebody decides they're going to cancel somebody, right? Everybody joins in, and they can't. The news and everybody joins in, and it becomes a commercial thing to cancel somebody because he did something. You don't know what they did. It's none of your business, actually, but they tell you that it's your business. They make you feel some kind of way, and you get involved because you're a part of being a sheep on this farm. The black sheep, the dark sheep, is the one that goes into the unknown. The black sheep taps into going where no man has gone before. The black sheep goes on a mission to seek out new life, and go where no one has gone. That's the darkness. That's where your stuff is at. When we're afraid of that, because you heard that, all the crime happens at night. That's not true. I got a phone bill the other day. It was so much crime on my phone bill. I had to call them. I said, "What is these charges?" They said, "Well, those are surcharges." What's a surcharge? Can you get somebody on the phone, sir or ma'am? They don't care. And they get I get the supervisor on the phone. I said, "Well, what is the surcharge?" There's 5 surcharges. Well, they're surcharges, sir. No, I need to know exactly what I'm paying for. Well, there's no explanation. There's no what is it? Y'all gangsters? At least tell me something. Real gangsters tell you the deal. They tell you what's gonna happen. But there's these charges that are like they're criminal, because you can't ask. If you want to use this phone service, you got to go along with this stuff. Then you don't have no idea what it is. So there's all kinds of things that are happening during the daytime. Paper crime, just the idea of the images that you're being shown, and the magic tricks that are going on constantly. If you're not totally aware, you'll get caught up. You get caught up in the wave, and you get caught up in what they say is happening. You get caught up in the culture, because we sometimes would rather stay with the light, which is the known, which is the stuff you've been given, than go into the total darkness. Now, when I remember a couple of times when I decided I had to leave everything. I had to walk away from the music industry. I didn't know what I was going to do, because that was my life. I had to go into darkness. I would sit in my room in my house. You know, I had one room that I could make totally dark and just sit there. And it was noisy for a long time. And for a long time, I was in solitary confinement. I was fighting with myself. There was 2 of us in it. Then it was 3 of us. Then it was 4 of us. And they're all talking to me. I wanted to run out, but I stayed in there because I didn't have anywhere to go. And all of a sudden, I got really quiet. And I could hear the white noise of the galaxy, just that shh. Yeah. Everything shut down. I could hear nothing. I could smell nothing. I felt nothing. And guess what? Something said, it's time to move. An idea came out of nothing. And I moved towards these thoughts and these ideas that were in my head that most people would say were crazy. They say, well, Dr. B, I think you've lost your mind. Yes, that's a good thing to lose the mind because you don't even own your mind. Your mind, most of the time, most of your mind is not even yours. It's not even, you're not in total control of it. You think you own your mind. I tell people in my workshops, I say, well, look, stop thinking for like 7 seconds. Give it longer. Let's go 10 seconds. Let's go a minute. Could you not think since you think you're in control? But when you can breathe at a certain rate, there's a certain breathing, right? Where all of a sudden everything stops and you begin to travel through the galaxy, and these ideas and these things just come to you, these notions. That's the real knowledge of the universe where everything is available. So the treasures, right, are in the darkness. And I'm going to, let's go here for a minute. This dark thing is feminine. Light is masculine. You see that in yin and yang, right? You see the yin and yang. In the dark part, yin, feminine. The light part is yang. Is that right? Am I saying it right? Do I have it right?
Sir. Yeah.
You know, I want folks going off like he had it backwards. Well, you know, help me here. Help me, y'all. The darkness is the feminine nature. They told you to be afraid of the dark, be afraid of the feminine nature. Why be afraid of the feminine nature? Because the feminine nature is where creativity comes from. Only a woman can create a child. In darkness. How could she do this? You know, most men, how could you, we would never be able to do this. Just the baby, having something inside you, moving around and all that. I mean, we would snap. I know I would. I feel something moving right now in my stomach. It might be a little gas because I mixed a fruit and a vegetable together. And, oh my God, what was that? And then you got to give birth. I mean, come on, you got to open up like this and babies popping out. See, this is what we would call almost impossible as a man. But what happened was at some point, man began to feel threatened by woman. Why? We can get into the history of why, but all of a sudden they decided that they would do something to suppress the idea of being a woman or being dark matter or being magnetic, because darkness is magnetic. So there was suppression that happened, possibly, I don't know if it was on purpose. We don't want to go there. We don't want to do any blaming, but the masculine vibration or men begin to suppress and depress and repress the feminine idea, which is the earth itself, which is the galaxy, and got you to be afraid of darkness. There's all kinds of evil things and monsters. Well, did you know a lot of the monsters are based on dark matter? I mean, look at most of the monsters in the movies. They're always dark. The creature from the Black Lagoon. Why the lagoon? Why couldn't it be the White Lagoon? I'm more afraid of the creature from the Light Lagoon. Think about that. Because someone chose to give you an image of the feminine as being the devil, evil. Paganism. That was when it was about feminine energy, when God was a woman and we were into nature. We were in the animism, where everything is animated, everything is alive, everything has life, even a rock, a tree, a bird. They all have consciousness, so you have respect for everything. It was about the wind having power and using the nature of, water and air and all these things, all these natural resources, which came out of darkness to work for us. Somebody wants to control nature now. They want to control the wind, control the weather. Some of these things, come on. A lot of this weather is being controlled. You got to know that by now. You see, it's being controlled by two things, by people who would like to control the mindset of people. They might have wanted to water some fields that were dry at some point. So they put these, ions in your clouds and built some clouds. They can do that too. But also the mindset of people is creating the weather. And if the mindset of people is all about power and control, you understand what I'm saying?
Mm.
It's all about pushing and making things, owning things and taking and war and, and anger. And even the school system is not based on a feminine principle. It's based on a masculine principle.
Mm-hmm.
All this memory, you're just memorizing all this stuff, saying stuff over and over so you could recant it at the time of the test and get an A, but still be dumb as a doornail. How many people have graduated? I got out of high school, I didn't know nothing. They asked me, what'd you learn in school? I don't know what I learned. I learned that bees outside, there's a big beehive outside the school window. I learned about that, but I was forced. So we're not able to develop on our own ideas and become a true genius, because a genius is one that knows without learning. They're snatching it out of the darkness where everything is. The first note on the piano, with the original first note was not a masculine note. Do or do is a masculine note. It means money. And do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, that's actually, Latin, do is money. And they put it at the beginning of the music and at the end of the music. It was about money. So now when you do music, it's all about money. A lot of people who are artistic people, they got to the point where, I got to figure out how I'm going to survive. I got to make money. When it all becomes about money and money rules everything around you, guess what? You have a very we have an autistic society. You think it's just children that's not speaking. A lot of what you're saying is nothing too, because we're not tapping into the silent place, the beautiful place, that dark place, because we're afraid of it. So the feminine energy has been under attack for a long time. I was talking to a client, and I'm going to go here. She's got all these health problems. She's going on and on about these health problems, her back, her spine. She's talking about her skull is off balance, and she's got some issues with her womb. And I asked a couple questions. I said, do you wear high heel shoes? She said, yes, of course I do. I said, why? Well, I work in an office and I'm a business person, and that's what women wear. High heel shoes. They have to wear them. She says, well, that's I don't know if you have to, but that's to be accepted. I said, what do the men wear? Well, a lot of them wear sneakers and little flat shoes. I said, but you got the heel of your foot raised up off the ground. So how many bones are in your foot? There's more tiny bones in your foot than almost anywhere else. And you're forcing your foot into this shoe for what? Where'd this come from? Do you know the roots of it? To keep the woman from being able to be in contact with Mother Earth, the dark matter. Lift her up. Keep her away, because when her heel is on the ground, I may get a little flack, as my father used. I may get a little flack.
Hey, man, wow. Yeah, you might. That's a hell of a statement.
Flack. That's what I tell.
Whoa. I never heard that. I never heard that one before. Wow.
Never mind the flack. Go take some flax. It's real though. When did the woman start feeling like she's got to wear these shoes, these stilts, to be beautiful? I just want to be cute. Well, who said that's cute? You mean to tell me some moccasins aren't cute? Flat shoes are not cute? Well, you got your heel of your foot, which is connected to Mother Earth, which is giving you the signal of things that's happening before they happen on the event horizon. To be connected to the dark matter and the vibration of the mother, you need the biggest bone in your foot touching the earth. Those are the base notes. How you think the indigenous people knew that the enemy was coming? Because the heel of their foot was on the ground. You can feel it. You can feel when drama's on the way. You can feel when the wind is about to change. You can feel when the whole environment is about to go through something, when you're touching the ground. But if you're lifted up and you're so high because you want to be high, you want to be what they now call cute. And when you start looking at the roots of where these shoes come from, you'll be blown away. but this is accepted. The lady thought that she might get fired if she came in there without these high heel shoes. She also said she had to straighten her hair. She can't wear her natural hair. I said, well, are you sure about that? Might be a lawsuit here. Well, I don't want any trouble with the job. So you got hair that you've straightened, right? And the straight hair that cannot pick up the natural vibration, the subtle vibrations of the galaxy that's coming from the dark matter, huh? You have decided that your job that you go for and you work for and you slave for, right, matters more than you understanding your environment and being able to catch things in the wave before they happen. When you got your natural hair, your natural coils, what they call the 9 ether. See, that's a feedback loop. That hair, right? When energies, subtle energies, right, which are too subtle for you to actually feel in your skin, your hair picks them up. Changes in dynamics in the wind. They touch the hair, and the hair vibrates, and that it goes through the coil of the hair, and it picks up, speed each time, and it shoots down into that little nerve at the bottom of your hair and sends a message to your melanin, huh? And the melanin picks that up. It's a capacitor, and it says, whoa, we got things about to happen. Some things is about to happen. You're about to hit the natural. You're about to hit the universal lottery. Most people miss it. Most people don't know. They're too numbed up. They're too disconnected because they've decided that they would like to join the world because they basically have joined their oppressor. I'm going to say it again. When you've been through oppress for a long, long time, you begin to act like the oppressor. You begin to talk like the oppressor and do what you think the oppressor wants to do so you can be impressive because you need likes. You need likes. You need, validation, not from the Most High, not from the earth, from other people. Well, they say I'm beautiful. They say I look good. Well, are they paying your bills? They ain't paying. Oh, you look good today, Martha. Oh, them shoes you got on, they to die for. If you realize that those shoes are to die for, and if you go and do the history and figure out where they came from and who used to wear them, because they only was worn by men. There's some Roman Greek stuff going on here. It's okay. I didn't say it was that Roman, the Romans and Greeks. I'm just saying, are you a Roman or a Greek? Or you're going to do as the Greeks and Romans because you think you're in Greek and Rome. But that's why we get to this place where we're sometimes so stuck that we can't get out the mud. And we don't realize we're in the mud because we begin to like the mud. We like the swamp. It tastes pretty good now. If you get used to it after a while, you get used to getting pimped. You understand what I'm saying? You get used to being used. Then you look at your paycheck, and they took so much out of it. It's ridiculous. Well, I had to pay my taxes and I had to do. There's a lot of things that if you knew how to conduct yourself, you wouldn't have to do. Mm-hmm. That's why we're doing this workshop, because once you do this workshop and you use what's in it, you'll be able to tap into what's already in you. There's a code inside each one of your cells. Mm-hmm. Called the divinity code. Have you heard of it? Do you know how to tap into it? You can only get to it through the darkness. You got to go in the darkness. You have to darken out your whole room, darken off some of your friendships, darken that phone out sometime. Do you know sometime, man, it's so many colors coming from your phone that you don't have any idea what true light looks like. You can't even receive true light because all those thousands of colors coming at you from your computer, from your phone all day, it's confusing your nervous system. So you have melanin and you have neuromelanin. Neuromelanin is the darkness in your nervous system, in your brain, and in your gut. It's going to pick up everything. And the thing about it is that when you're able to pick up everything and then be able to do the alchemy. See, there's alchemy that has to be done in every particular second. You've got to transmute whatever's going on. You got to transmute your life. Are you ready to do that? Let me tell you something. 2023 is one of the most important pinnacle years. This is a turning point for everyone.
2023.
2023 is a 7. So that's a what? A 7 is a G. Play G on the piano. Find out about why that's a generator. What is a generator? You need to learn how to manifest in that generation by first being at the root level of yourself. And you need to be able to be connected to the earth. not up on stilts.
Mm.
But not with all this fake stuff on. Don't you, if you'd like to really gather something, go natural for a minute. Take your shoes off. Let the actual air touch your body. Stop being afraid of your natural beauty and judging your natural beauty based on something, right, that is unnatural. So you get confused, you get lost because you want to get accepted. You want likes. You want them to tell you you're pretty. You want to get little gifts. You work for the company that you don't own. You work hard, right? You got the mug, the company mug. You wearing the company shirt. And then when it's time to retire, they give you a watch.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for your years and years and years of whatever, blah, 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 blah. The question is, what do you have? Have you created your own bank? The bank, right? The bank is the bench. What you sitting on is your bank. It's already in your cells. There's gold in your body. When you sleep at night, right, you generate a type of biological gold. There's gold when you sleep. You got to sleep in darkness, though. But a lot of times you're not sleeping in darkness. You got the tail live vision on.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi, the TV connected.
You got a night light on. What is this night light? Well, I get up at night. I need to be able to find the bathroom. Let me tell you something. If you can't, your legs will automatically walk you to the bathroom. Just like sometimes you're going to work or you're going somewhere and you just get there and don't even know how you got there because it's an automatic pilot because of you. It's got to do with the magnetite in your head. That's your automatic. That magnetite is your compass. Mm-hmm. Have you heard of magnetite? And what magnetite does is a very special mineral. But a lot of times the magnetite is being affected by all this light, by all this radiation, 5G, 3G, 2G, 1G. You got to get to a point where you turn all this off. Sometimes we turn off our whole router. You ever turn your router off? Cut it off. Cut the router off. Cut the phone off. Cut all the lights off. In fact, go to the main switch. You want to get deep?
Whew.
Go to the main switch of your house and turn that circuit breaker off. Some people almost lose it for the first few hours. They can't because they're so used to, hearing. They're not used to not hearing. But when you're not hearing, you're hearing everything. That is the nothing. That's when you can create. When you get out of this space, you got to turn off the tail live vision, right? And stop looking at other people's ideas and looking at their art to create your art from. You are the arc. You are the art. You're involved in the orchestra. You're a musical instrument that have been traveling for a long time. And your mitochondria and the mycelium and all of your hair, your skin, your cells, your organs, your organelles, they're all working together to create something great. And once you create something great, you got to learn where you're going to put it. Billy Carson starts talking about you're already a bank. Did you realize that? You're talking about the Bank of America. What about the Bank of you? Are you banking on yourself?
Banking on yourself. Ain't that something?
You ain't banking on yourself. You waiting. I had to put that money in the bank. Why you had to put it in the bank? Because if I keep it here in the house, somebody can steal it. Well, they got a sign at the bank that says they might get robbed too. Sign right there. If the money's gone, we might give it to you a little bit at a time over 13 years. So they're not impervious to getting robbed. Remember, there used to be bank robberies. Ain't even no money in the vault. Where'd the money go? So what I'm saying is we don't trust ourselves at this point because somebody told you can't handle your own business. You're like a little child. So bring all your money to us so we can use it and we're going to give you a little something for your money. How much do they give you? It's like in the music business, you get these spins and you get 0.003% of each spin. You know how many spins you got to have a dollar? But you're famous. You got likes, man. They love me. I got so many spins today. Did you get anything from it besides an ego? That ain't going to work in the next vibration. That's not going to work in this new golden age. You got to get a new type of commerce. You got to become the bank. So Billy's going to teach you about becoming the bank and having a life insurance policy that you can use while you're alive. You got a life insurance policy, that you can't use till you dead? Then the life insurance, they want to say, well, is he really dead? Are you sure he's dead? Did he fake his death? They want to come check, and then they want to tell you who gets what and why. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of us don't have a will because we don't have the will while we're living. What is your will? You ain't got no will. You gave your will up a long time ago. He didn't have no will. He didn't have no will when he marched down to the job every day or she went down there and
Dr.
wore
B.
whatever. She went to the club on the weekend. She didn't have no. You gotta have a drink, baby. You gotta have a drink. You talking about all that conscious stuff. You need to have a drink. God, well, they want me to have a drink. I guess I'll have a drink. You get a drink, and now you're off because the spirits got you. That's why they call it spirits. You're at the bar, you're sitting there, happy hour. Most people at happy hour is not happy. That's why they're there. They ain't happy. You got something happening at home and something to do in some creative project. You ain't down at happy hour with the rest of the sad people calling it happy. And they got the lights dark in there too, don't they? They be having the night lights dark at happy hour. It could be daytime, but they got the club dark. See, they using the principle to pull money from you. The bottle of alcohol, if you knew what it really cost, I'm not saying don't go drink. I'm not saying don't wear high heel shoes. I'm saying you need to know what you've been caught up in. You've been caught up in some stuff that's been draining you. I am saying that in 2023, are you ready to make your own choices? Are you ready to tap into the darkness? Are you ready to do some wave casting? Have you ever even heard about wave casting?
You're talking about that on the 7th, right? Wave casting, right?
This is what we get into this whole thing about wave casting.
Right.
I'm actually going to take you through a subconscious alignment. We didn't even put that in the description.
Well, I got to put that there.
Everybody at the event is going to get a subconscious alignment. What is that? Well, your conscious mind is your ego. That's what you think you want. That's your will. That's your light part. Your light side of you. The subconscious is a program. It's like a library of programs. It's things that have already happened that have been stored up and and categorized by the level of emotion with the idea. So a lot of that stuff is just sitting there as potential, right, from the past. But your conscious mind has a goal, but the subconscious has programs that may be pushing you away from the goal. So the conscious mind and the subconscious mind are usually out of alignment with each other. If you become your own saboteur, you ever notice you just sabotage your own stuff? You could have just shut up. Why couldn't you be quiet? No, I had to tell him. I had to give him a piece of my mind. You snatched a piece of your head out and gave it to somebody else? Well, he was making me mad. They were forcing you to be mad without touching you? So this is what I'm saying. We've lost, we fell asleep at the wheel at some point. The car's just driving. You sitting in the back seat. You think you talk about driving Miss Daisy. You're supposed to be the driver. You're the owner. You're the copywriter. You're the publisher. You are the event inventor. You're it all. And once you learn how to tap in.
And Doc, let me just say something real quick because we had to change the date on the flyer for everybody who bought tickets for this monumental, historic, cosmic event that's going down on the 7th. You know how you wait for the eclipse or you wait for the full moon or the new moon? The cosmic event that's happening on the 7th is the Blueprint for GodPower. It's a powerful cosmic event that's happening on the 7th. And I just want everybody to know that the time has changed. It's going to be even longer. Dr. B wants to start a little earlier. So he is starting at 11 a.m. Eastern time. A lot of people have been emailing me, Dr. B, there's so many people overseas that has joined this workshop. You have to figure out, everybody overseas, y'all have to figure out the time difference yourselves. You could go to Google and you could do it real fast, the time conversion, but we're not going to figure it out for you. You're going to have to figure out whether you're in the UK or Canada or wherever you are. Just go to Google, we're Eastern Standard Time. Just figure out the time conversion, but we are starting 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time sharp. We're going to go to about 8, maybe 9, depending on when Billy's done. We will take a break. There will be a break for y'all to gather your thoughts and just to relax, rest. Everybody's going to have lifetime access, so this is extremely long. You don't have to worry about sitting there the whole time if you can, if you're unable. Stay there for as long as you can. Come back and forth. Do whatever you got to do, but you will have lifetime access to this. Also, for those asking, the ebook will be given out the day of the event. It's not going to be given out 2 weeks before. Some people said, no, we're not doing that. Yeah, you will get it the day of the event. You may get it the day before, or we'll see, but it's going to be around the event. So everybody will get an ebook from Dr. B. Sirius. You get 2 ebooks. This is some powerful shit here, family. You get an ebook from Dr. B. Sirius for his 4 or 5 hour presentation. Then you're getting an ebook from Billy Carson for his 4 or 5 hour presentation. After the workshop, you will have assignments that you could go do within your ebook. It ain't over after the 7th. It's going to keep going and going and going. You just keep, listen, this is a lifetime commitment for tapping into your God power. This is a lifetime commitment for all of us, me included. So this isn't just a one event. This is an investment of a lifetime. I just wanted to clarify some things for those who are a little confused. The link will be sent several times before the workshop. Don't worry about it. Everybody will get the link. The link will be given to whatever email you provided for Eventbrite. That's where the link will go. 2 people so far got 2 tickets. Forget the individuals' names. I didn't even tell you what's going on, Dr. B. Listen, so 2 individuals were so moved by this workshop and what's going on that they donated anonymous. They wanted to remain anonymous, but they bought several tickets and they asked me to give it out to people because they want people to be a part of this and they realize the value that we are putting out there. So they said, I'm going to invest my money for other individuals that don't have the money. So I gave out 2 tickets so far and I have 4 more to give out. So what I want to do right now before we continue, I'm going to give out a ticket right now, family. I'm going to give out a ticket right now. And after that, I will have 3 more and I'll probably give it out during the course of the week. But damn, I had a question in mind. All right. So the tickets are being given to people. I want people who are hardcore watchers, viewers of this channel, and you could pick up on little things that I've said here and there where I know, like, damn, you really listening. Remember when I said that? Remember when I said this? Remember when I said that? So I said during the show, I had Billy Carson, I had Brother Panic, and I had Dr. Valentine on the show. We did a show. And the first person is the first person. I know a lot of y'all, it's the first person to answer this question. Like I said, this question is pertaining to those who will watch the show and they could give me information based on little things that I've said, not from a book. I'm not going to ask you questions that you could get from a book and you could be like, oh, Brother Rich, I know that, but no, this is for individuals that's really supporters of this network. During that interview, family, this was last year around October, September, I told everybody, I was talking in Panic and I mentioned my father. Now, first of all, this is my father's, this is his pendant. He was an Aries. So I wear this. I represent, it was passed down to me. What is my father's last name? And I told Panic, and Panic was like, oh, I'm going to call you that from that one. What's the last name of my father that I mentioned during that show? You really got to be a fan of this show. I know they're going to start the first person. I'm only going to give it to the first person. Ain't no damn Hicks, man. Cosmic Royalty said Hicks. Where you get Hicks from, Cosmic Royalty? Astute got it. Oh, no. New Occult Classics got it. No, damn, a lot of y'all. You know what? I'm going to give it to the person who just New Occult Classics. I asked a specific question. I said my father's last name. New Occult Classics was the first person to name my father. This is my father's name. So you got it, New Occult Classics. Email me. I'm gonna put my email, brother or sister. Email me, and so I can have your email on deck, and I will hit you up with information pertaining to your ticket. So, you remember somebody said, I remember this started with an S. So shout out to New Occult Classics. New Occult Classics. Email me at richardmerritt at yahoo.com. 2 individuals, y'all email me. I got your email. I just haven't hit y'all up yet, but I got your email. I made an asterisk on the email. I started, so I got it saved. New Occult Classics. Email me. You're the 3rd participant to get. I never had people buy tickets to give out to people because they felt this is it. This is a cosmic event. So shout out New Occult Classics. You're the winner. I got 3 more, and I'll give them out the rest of the week or something. I'll figure out other clever ways to figure out who's been listening attentively to Black Magic 363, because I appreciate people who really listen attentively to the show. With that being said, we're going to continue. We're not going to be here too long tonight, but we're going to continue. As we continue, let me ask you a question real quick, Dr. B. And this is just based on what somebody said in the comment earlier. And I know people, this is a major concern for a lot of people. When we cover a topic like darkness and we're like the treasures in the darkness, a lot of people feel as though the evil spirits dwell in the darkness, and this is when people get attacked. So talk to me about a person when we're talking positively about darkness, but a person will say, nah, the evil spirits dwell in the darkness. My child is scared of the darkness. What would you say to that individual? What message would you say to that individual, my brother?
First of all, these constructs that we've created about what is evil, what is good, what is positive, what is negative. It's a construct that was given to us. And the fear, a lot of the systems that were created for the people in the farm were based on fear. Fear about these things that are going to hurt you. Most things can only hurt you is if you're open for that hurt. Now, this gets a little touchy. I'm searching for the way to explain this so that we realize that everything is connected to its opposite. The only way you can have good is to have bad. The only way you can have light is to have dark. The only way you can have up is to have down. The only way you can have life is to have death. It's all happening. It's how you perceive it. So, we talk about, I used to have a dream. I would have these terrible dreams where these creatures, or this one creature, it used to be a lot of them, but it came down to this one being was always chasing me on a horse. Every night it was a monster. It was on a horse, and I'd be running and running and running. I used to wake up in the morning actually tired because I was having this, reoccurring terrible nightmare. And it was on a horse. So check that out. Nightmares has to do with horses. A dark, night, we think of a dark horse. You see? This evil being was chasing me. And one day I decided I was too tired. In real life, I had worked. I was in the studio for like 3 days. I was up for 3 days and I was really tired. And I just needed to get some rest. So I go to sleep. And when I'm going to sleep, I'm thinking about how tired I am. So up comes the creature, the monster, the evil thing. It's chasing me. And I decided I don't have the strength to run. I'm not running anymore from this damn thing. I turn around and face it. And it comes up to me on the horse. It's got spears and all this stuff and, claws and teeth and fangs. Teeth and fangs. That's what deep with teeth and fangs. But guess what? The creature was me. So I said, so you're the devil. He said, yes, I'm the devil. It had the voice, but it was me. It was the other side of me. And I said, oh my gosh, this is deep. And I said, so you're the opposite of God? Yes, I'm the devil. And I can do anything I want. I said, well, I know you're going to do whatever. Now check this out. I know you're going to do whatever to me. This is all in a dream, man. This is vivid. I know you're going to kill me. You're going to eat me. You're going to bleed me. You're going to do whatever. But if there's one thing, is there anything you cannot do? Yeah, there's nothing I cannot do. So I say, but if I can come up with one thing you cannot do, will you leave me alone? Because I'm tired. I've been in the studio. I can't sleep. I'm sick of it. He said, okay. If you can tell me one thing I cannot do, I will leave you alone forever. I thought for a minute, oh my gosh, I got this. I said, can you be somewhere that the prime creator is not? The thing looked, what did you say? Can you? You ugly. Yeah, that was it. Because you smell. I'm tired of this. I tell you, I've been in the studio. And I got to go back. I got to have this record in on time. And you messing with me. The creature says, it's quiet for a minute. And it just says, why are you doing this to me? Why are you destroying me? And it melts. I never had that dream again. What did I say? It said it can do anything. So you think the evil things can do anything. So Can you be somewhere that the prime creator, the universal God, is not? Which is me, by the way. The only way the evil even existed was from me. I generated that evil. It was my nightmare, my daymare. It was a morning mare, evening mare. I was haunted by my own stuff. A lot of times you're haunted by your own stuff because you believe it and you've gotten so much into it. And that's like religion. So they scare you. You're scared, frightened day and night. So you have actually materialized it because you're casting those waves of thoughts and ideas into the quantum field. And the quantum field begins to make them real for you because you need it to be real, because you were taught that it's a life of struggle. You were born in sin. It's going to be rough. Evil's after you. Everyone's after you. You need something to blame things on. I was like that because the devil made me do it. My friends made me do it. I'm like this because of my parents. My daddy made me like this. See, that's because a lot of times you can stay stuck in that so that you don't take what? Responsibility to clean yourself up right now. You got to stop it. You better face the devil, huh? The devil, as my preacher used to say. He said, God came down and he told the people about the devil. I said, what did he say? What the heck is the devil? You know, it's funny sometimes the preachers, I gotta go here for a minute. We gotta have a little fun, right? The preacher was preaching. I'm looking up at my mother, right? And I got cookies in my pocket, right? You know, because I got, this is some wild stuff. You know what I'm saying? They about to eat, somebody's body and drink somebody's blood. This sounds a little strange. And what happens is the preacher says that he had just got back. I just got back from vacation. Me and my wife and the choir, we went out to the Pacific Ocean, and we was out there. We looked up at the sky, and we saw all of God's celestial objects. It was at the Pacific Ocean. Where's the Pacific Ocean? Is it one specific ocean? Is it one particular one? The Atlantic Ocean? Is it the Indian Sea? I mean, what is the specific? Nobody notices because you're all caught up in the emotion of this person and their wave of energy. And he says he looked up at the sky and he saw celestial objects. I'm asking my mother, what are celestial?
Dr. B, your sound went out. Dr. B, your sound went out. Your sound went out. It's on mute. I think it's on mute.
Whew.
You good?
Ooh, I'm getting a little excited, man. So, Mama, what is a celestial object? Well, he's trying to say celestial. So the guy ain't got no education. We following this nut. He's breathing in the high choirs because you get caught up in emotion. And see, when you get caught up in emotion, right, that emotion keeps traveling until it's stopped by something else. That's energy in motion. It's travel. What? It's energy in motion is always traveling until it's stopped by something equal or opposite. You got to stop it. But you have to have courage. You can't ask somebody for courage because you got a piece of paper like in the Wizard of Oz. They give you a paper and a degree. You're walking around with your chest all high. I graduated Johnny Cum Laude or whatever that is. I studied. I went to super grad and undergrad and overgrad. And see, I'm important. See, all that stuff it's like a cloak. You wear it. It's like an outfit. It's a habit. What I am saying is down at the root of you, the real royalty is in you. So what's going to happen in 2023? It's going to be all on you now. The golden age is at the point. It's at a peak point. The quickening is happening so deeply right now. The planet is spinning so fast that it's up to you. You are the vortex. You've got to take back responsibility for yourself, and you got to cast that blame away. We've been in the blame game a long time. We keep talking about what they did to us, what they're going to do to us, what's going to happen if you go down there. You ever thought about going somewhere and you got there and it was nothing like you thought about? Yeah. Every time you go somewhere, it's never exactly like you thought it was going to be. You ever had like a person you heard was your enemy? I know a lot of you may have run into this. I know you've run into this. A person, they keep telling you that this person don't like you, and they keep talking about you. Man, you go meet the person. They're some of the coolest people at the playground. Man, what's happening, man? We become homies because people want to chat you up. People want to cast shadows and cast shade because they sometimes are afraid of the power that two people who are wave casting into the darkness, creating and pulling up treasures because that's where the gold is at. You want to get to the gold, you got to go down into the darkness. You want to get platinum, you want to get wealthy, you got to go into the darkness. Where's the love that you say you like? It's in the darkness. That's the primordial place where all this stuff is stored. But you've got to be willing to go there. And you got to go there alone. You can't say, well, yeah, I'm going to go if y'all go. Who going to go first? See, you got to step into it. And this is the thing where we break the spell. On the 7th, we're going to show you how to break the spells that are around your relationships, the spells around your business relationships, your spell on you about money, the spell on you about your career and who you really are, your art, all of that. You got to break these spells. So now if you're worried about evil going to be on the channel too. You don't think you don't think evil's on the show right now listening? Evil's listening. You know, it's a really good commercial on television I saw last week. Every once in a while, I do watch it. You know, you got to see what's going on in the world. And they had this commercial about this lady. You know, it was a depression medicine, right? And the lady was depressed, and she had this robe on, right? And she's just sitting around sad. I know some of you have seen this commercial, right? And all of a sudden, she takes this medicine, Kamalusha Shekusha, whatever. She takes this drug, and she's happy now. She's dancing around. She's playing with the children on the swings. And guess what's sitting on the park bench just waiting for her? The robe. The sad robe is looking all sad, waiting for her, because they created the idea of depression in the 70s. Because first they created a medicine, then they create something that is an idea about a dis-ease that really doesn't exist, but they sell it to you. You've been sold for a long time. It ain't your fault. We're not saying that, you know, that all this stuff was your fault. It's not your fault, but what's going to be your fault after the 7th? Because you're going to learn how to what? Have the keys to the new vehicle, the new ship. You're going to become the captain. You're going to become the writer, the copywriter, the creator, the composer. Because all this time you've been the jailer, you've been the judge, you've been the prosecutor, you know, you've been the warden, you've been the prisoner. You're the one with the keys. Nobody may have given you the idea that you're the one who are creating the situation that you're in, because it's all perceptions. And once you learn about perceptions management, it's deep. And what's so deep about this event, and what makes me so excited about it, is that this is a time when we got 3 powerful forces coming together for the first time ever like this. I don't know of anything that's happened like this before. First, you call me. Right? I'm out minding my own business, and you said, B, I got an idea. Out of the darkness, he pops up with this thing. I got this thing, the Blueprint for GodPower, with you and Billy Carson. I was like, whoa. I stopped for a minute. My breath went away.
You were funny.
You ever had something that takes your breath away?
You a funny dude, man.
No breath. You know, that's a whole new technique, a no breath technique.
It's the no breath technique.
I couldn't say anything for a second. And when I came to, I was like, because everything went dark for a second. I was like, whoa, this brother's on some stuff. This guy is way past genius. He's tapping into the far corners of the omniverse. And he snatched that up. The Blueprint for GodPower, who doesn't want that? Listen, let me tell you something. This is the truth. I'm not going to say his name because he's a very famous guy and he's powerful. He's a minister. He called me and says, man, this is deep. He says, man, that's powerful. I got to be there. Then I've got all these ministers calling me now. Ministers calling me. Now, Dr. B, I've been listening to your program, and a lot of stuff you didn't say is questionable, but I'm going to be there on the 7th to see what you're going to say about God's power. I said, well, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Ministers, doctors,
wow,
attorneys,
wow,
business people. A lady called me the other day. She's in another country. She said, you know, it's going to take me a lot to put together the money for this, but I'm going to take everything and put it into here. And I said, I want you to use this technique, and I'm giving it to everybody. Whenever you give away and invest something, say return 1,000-fold. Imagine when you push that button to take this class, to sign up, you say return 1,000-fold. When you put that credit card or that ATM card in that machine, say return 1,000-fold. When you sign a check, say return 1,000-fold. When you do random acts of kindness and give somebody something, say return 1,000-fold. You got to demand it. You can't just be floating along in the boat and just let the wind blow you. You have to be the captain. Take charge. Are you ready to take charge? So, that's why I'm going to talk about this whole event that's happening, that's coming up soon, that it's like this event. I'm talking about, we got the 7th event, but there's an event that's happening right around the corner from the 7th that changes everything. Everybody's going to get this too. Everybody's going to get the vehicle. There's a vehicle. That's all I want to call it right now. There's a vehicle, and it's a DNA change. When this change happens, you now have the keys to your vehicle. On the sacred day that we're going to give, I'm going to give the whole equation of how to find the day and how to use the day. Whatever you're doing on this day, you will be repeating for the next year and possibly for the rest of your life. This is deep. And this ain't on the news. Nobody's talking about this. It ain't on the internet, because the information was given to me by a very special source. The information was given to me to hold until now. There's a few of my students that kind of know, but every year the date changes. But this time it's because it's happening on a 7 year that we become the true generators. So once you understand this date, which is also known as the mystical Christmas, is not on the day they told you on. You've been missing the Christmas because nobody told you when it really was. And it really has to do with crystallizing your imagination. That's what Christ is all about, when you're able to crystallize your imagination. On this particular day, your pineal emits this stuff called black gold. And it doesn't just do anything. And here's the thing. I'm going to give you this one little piece. People say, well, what's it going to do? It doesn't do anything. It's a capacitor. The black gold is a capacitor. That means that it's like this container. It becomes full with oil. Oil holds on to vibration very well. Good example. You take some olive oil, cut some garlic up, throw it in some oil. What happens after about a day or so? You now have garlic oil. Take some sage or some thyme or some other spices and put them in some oil and leave them. The oil begins to absorb the flavor, the vibration, the frequency of the things you put in it, and it holds it like a capacitor. In fact, in electronics, on these computers and everything, phones, they have these things called capacitors in them. Capacitors are devices that hold on to an essence or a voltage or a vibration until it's needed later. The oil that's coming on this sacred day is going to hold on to whatever you're thinking, whatever you're feeling, whatever you're doing, whoever you're being, is going to hold that. And it says, that's what the captain or the CEO decides they want. So if you're in anger mode and fear mode, and you're worried about what they're doing, and you're ruminating on the past and caught up in what was done to you, then this oil begins to, I don't want to say that because then you'll get the whole thing. It begins to emanate and vibrate on the frequency of who you are and what you're being on this day. So when you come to the class, you're going to get all the tools of who to be and what to be on this date. This is like way past what you call spirituality. This is deeper than that. This is something that the ancients knew. It's about what the ancients knew. I haven't read this. I haven't seen this on any of the walls. Nobody mentioned this. But I'm going to tell you who knows it. Some of the wealthiest people on the planet. And most of them are really old. They know about this time. And they disappear. Like, where were you, man? Well, I had to go take care of something. They were gone for like 3 days. Where'd you go? Well, if I told you that, then I wouldn't be alone. You see? You got to take control of yourself some kind of way. And it's easier on this day because the universe opens up at this particular time for you and you become rebirth. On this day, they allude to it in almost every holy book, but they don't give you the actual formula. They get you all off. You might fall. Some people fall on it. And there's some people who actually know what this date is and what this is about. And it's not the same date every year. It moves. It drifts. It drifts. So you got to know the calculation. But what my point is that once you know you have the true knowledge of what to do on this date, it changes the game.
Bro, every year for the rest of my life.
For the rest of your life.
That day is going to be popping for me, Dr. B. Every year for the rest of Thank you.
And what's going to happen is you won't have to worry about competition anymore. Nobody can get there before you in your life. You're going to be in command of your vessel. And the only way you can lose it after this is if you give it away. You go back into the system. And we'll even talk about how you can live in the system but not be of it. You can go to work and everything. You see what I'm saying? You can wear, whatever. But you got these sacred places and these sacred times, because when you learn how to do stuff that really works, there's a lot of sacred stuff that we talk about, spiritual stuff. It don't really do anything. You know how many singing bowls? I was going all over the world buying singing bowls at one point. What's turning spinning bowls? I got sage. I had all this stuff, but my life was still the same. It's a lot of stuff that I did. I was sitting in meditation class, right? I had one of the #1 meditation teachers on the earth. He just made his transition not too long ago. He's one of the top. He used to be a Black Panther, by the way. Some of y'all might know who he is. But he became a meditation master, transcendental meditation. He took transcendental meditation to the hood, to the neighborhoods where there was gangs and all that stuff, and stopped them. And they began to meditate. He went around the world teaching, people how to do this special type of meditation. So I'm studying with him, right? And I'm sitting there in the class, and I got my eyes closed. I'm doing the breathing. Nothing's happening. So they ask you at the end, how'd you do it? Did you see the pink light? And I'm like, yeah, well, you start just lying because you don't want to seem like an outsider. But I didn't feel it. I really didn't feel it. It was because I hadn't tapped into the sacredness of myself. I wasn't married to myself, the natural power within me, because it's like an obstacle course to get there. Who created the obstacle course? You did. Because you came here to be a winner, and you're always testing yourself. So these particular things, right? You have to be in the right place at the right time. You got to know how to know when and when to know how, right? You got to do sacred things at sacred times and sacred places. So what you're going to do on the 7th is you're going to be in the right place. You're going to have the material, because there's people all over the world that's not going to get this. But once you begin to do it and live it, you're going to be able to go help other people. Because this is not just about you. It's about you, what helping other folks do the same, helping other folks achieve. We would like you all to go out and start new businesses, become banks, become great lovers, create new communities. This information couldn't come through until now. And it has nothing to do with what you know. It has to do with what you're going to do. You see, we're also going to tell you how to create your personal gold mine. What is that? What is a gold mine? You're going to find out what the gold mine is. You're going to say, oh man, I had this all the time. A lot of times what you need, what you lost, you actually you're not seeing it. You see, you're going to learn how to wave cast. And how you actually manifest. How did, Brother Rich, he could talk about how he manifested his house. We talking about, oh, well, it's my credit, and I don't have no credit, and I don't have no down payment. That's because you don't know about the up payment. You waiting for a down wave. People talk, man, I got a download. What about uploads? You know anything about uploads? Wow. You know what's more powerful than a download that you waiting to get? What's more powerful than you waiting to be saved or somebody to give you the secret stuff? The upload. What are you sending out? What is your radio station? What record is your radio station playing? Because you are a radio station.
Let me just say something real quick, Dr. B. I noticed early in the chat when I did the giveaway, a lot of y'all said a gentleman by the name of Josh said the name first. Josh said Merritt Swift. So that was wrong. My mother's last name is Merritt. So when a cult said Swift, that's specifically my father's last name. Merritt is my mother's last name. So you were almost there, but if we want to be technical, New Occult Classics or whatever his name is, he got that one name, like Dr. B's last, he goes by Dr. B Sirius. My father's last name was Swift, Richard Swift. So that's why he got it. I did see that. I'm not slipping, y'all. I did see Josh, but Josh had my mother and my father's name there, and my father's last name was Swift. So that's why that gentleman got it. And I seen you email me already. So that's 3 of y'all. I got your email, and I will keep y'all updated. And I just want to make a comment real quick, Dr. B. We got about 15 minutes left, y'all. Earlier when you was talking about the concern the individual had for evil spirits lurking in the darkness, I'm finding more and more as I talk. I used to be scared. I had a story similar to yours, and there's a brother I interviewed named Yosef where there was like this monster figure looking at me. And I find that a lot of spiritual people had that same experience. in their life. And this is when I was real young, like super young. I'm probably like 5, 6 years old. And there was this monster looking figure looking at me through the mirror, and I would be scared and run away and wake up. And then one day he never wanted to harm me. He was just looking at me. And one day I decided to face it, and I started screaming, and it didn't want to attack me. It just calmly backed up and disappeared. And I found out later on that, that was an aspect of my higher self. And if we talk about darkness, what we perceive as beauty in this realm may be different, a form of beauty in another realm. So what we may call monsters, and as Bobby said, grotesque, in another realm, that may be beauty. So our conscious mind can only interpret so much, and it has such a limited way of perceiving things. But I used to be scared to even say that to people. But I remember I got older and I started telling people about that. And I found that I even talked to a brother named Mr. G. He had a similar experience. So a lot of spiritual people were approached by certain beings. It may be their higher self. It may be a fear they had. But we all had a lot of experiences when we were young. And I'm glad that we're able to talk about it with each other now. One more thing I want to ask you, Dr. B, before we continue. You talked about the sperm cells, and you talk a lot about the sperm cells when it enters the egg and die. And they say as above, so below. And they also say when you come in there, then the street slave says, I'm about to come, or I'm about to, bust a nut, or whatever you want to call it. They say it comes from your brain. So my question to you is, how similar is sperm and neurons? The neurons in our mind and the sperm, how similar are they as far as their function, the way they look, and what they, their purpose?
First of all, it's interesting that we use the word come.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to just show you how language is so tricky.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually, you're about to arrive.
Mm-hmm.
You're about to come where? What? Just think about this for a second. Where are you coming from? Where are you going? What do you mean? Wouldn't you like to arrive at some destination? Because when you're being intimate, that's intercourse. That's two courses interacting together.
Mm.
Wouldn't you like to be somewhere and use that energy to get somewhere?
Mm.
Because each time you're together with someone, this is when 1 and 1 does not equal 2.
Mm.
It equals 3.
1
plus 1
equals 3.
Equals 3, because the two people, their auric field, their vibrational rate are different. They're never the same. They're two unique individual vibrations. When they come together, they make a sum combination of the two, which is a third vibration, which is the baby, or if you're not going to get pregnant, it becomes the satellite. It becomes what they call a lesser angel. It becomes your own information field being sent out into the galaxy as a child. And guess what? It always returns looking for its maker. Your creations are always coming back looking for the maker. And let me just hit you on this one real quick. Check out Star Trek, the motion picture, the last one with William Shatner, Captain Kirk. Man, they break it down. I mean, I was like, I keep watching it because it's so deep. And they're going into this being, this dark matter being. And they're traveling. There's these yonis opening and closing, and these sacred geometry. This thing has become a universe, and it's looking for its maker. It's traveling the universe and it's saying to a whole planet, "Are you my maker? As my maker on your planet?" And they don't answer. So it says, "Well, you must have killed my maker." So it destroys and vaporizes planets and ships. It destroyed everything in its path until it finds its maker, because that's what it was programmed. It was programmed by its maker to do whatever it had to do to get home and bring the message back. What is the message that the maker sent out? The message said, "I need to know more about the galaxy." Bring back information. So when you're being intimate, you're creating something and asking it to go get more information of the based on the sum combination of the two beings that were together interfacing. So now this goes into what ceremony are you doing just before you're intimate, or are you doing a ceremony? A real one where you're going to create something on a whole another level. To do that, you need a mantra, a real code It's got to be codified. It's got to be, and check it out. We're going to teach you this on the 7th too. A language syntax is a short piece of code. It's a group of words that has the same meaning forward and backwards. It's a sentence that when you read it backwards, it has the same meaning. Once you begin to live in this statement, you begin to have it, because you're going to have one. We're going to create one on the 7th that's going to be your gold mine statement. Once you have it, whenever you interface with people, guess what you're bringing to the table? That piece of information. They don't have to know it, but you're going to walk it. You're going to talk it. Every time you breathe, you're it. So now when you get with somebody, you are doing what? You're arriving. Every moment you're arriving at a goal. You become a gold mine because your mind is focused on a goal. Every second, no matter what happened, I'm about to arrive. I'm about to arrive. I'm about to arrive.
Oh, I was saying, baby, I'm arriving. I'm gonna tell my girlfriend.
I'm arriving. She know what you mean. He know what you mean. I'm about to arrive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you crazy, man.
Now what that does is, now all of a sudden your neurons, which are nerve cells basically, are programmed with a goal. No matter what's happening around them, no matter how evil things look, no matter how deep the storm gets, no matter how good the food tastes, no matter what, you are programmed with this arrival, with this intent. You're on a mission. Even if you're in prison somewhere, you still focus on this goal in the darkness. You become like Nelson Mandela. What was he thinking about for all those years in darkness? How come he came out with more power and more energy than he went in with? Because he was able to focus on a goal, create what they call an idiom, a space, a sacred creative space that you live in and you live from, and you're going to it. You wave cast. So now, whether it's the sperm, the egg, or everything in between, guess what they're programmed with? This vibration. The vibration is the goal. Because most of your purpose is not what you were told your purpose. Your purpose is not to be the boss at the job. That's your real purpose. You got to have a core purpose, not just the egotistical purpose. You see, so when you do this, your neurons begin to vibrate with this frequency. So squirrels have it. You ever watch the squirrels? What are they doing? You think cars driving by? You think they all scared because the cars out there? You think they worried about the hawk that might fly down and snatch their butt up? I did see that happen one time. It was pretty deep. That hawk came down and made this sound. Whoosh, and guess what? This was in New York, in the parking garage. This is crazy, man. We were standing on the top. We were smoking a little something, resting after the studio. We weren't resting, but we was arresting our minds. But anyway, we up, at the Master House Studios, right? We're upstairs, right? And there's this squirrel playing on the porch. Like, he ain't playing, he's doing what he's doing. And all of a sudden you heard this sound go whoosh, and this hawk in New York snatches this thing and is gone. I was like, wow. The other squirrels, there was a couple of them, they looked and they saw it. What did they do? They went right back to doing their thing. Were they sitting up worrying about the evil hawks? The hawk is attempting to survive. And obviously that squirrel wasn't looking and watching out for itself, so it got snatched up. So sometimes when you're not watching your stuff, what you call evil will snatch your stuff. See, evil is live. It's the same word. It's just flipped. Evil is live. So what I'm saying is, once you get your every cell, because you're making sperm cells every day, my brothers and my sisters. Woman is making eggs every day. We got eggs. All this stuff is already there. It's just how it's vibrating, how it's being created. So you're like in the kitchen. What are you making? Do you start out making chocolate cake and end up with vanilla? That does happen for some folks. They had all the ingredients, but what came out was, I don't know what that is. It tastes like pumpkin cake, chocolate pumpkin cake, because something was off because you weren't focused. And most of our lives are like, we fell asleep at the wheel because of the programming that we've gotten from the world, from our parents, from the government, from everything. But that's what it's supposed to be. To make you stronger, you need to create an obstacle course so you become stronger. So it doesn't make any difference on some levels, whether it's sperm, whether it's egg, whether it's your creative process is always happening. And sometimes you're creating your own demise by being afraid of how bad it could be out there. So are there evil spirits? Let me tell you something right now. Right now, there's at least 7 beings right here around me right now. Some people have seen them. People have hit me up. They text me, Dr. B. I saw that shadow. I saw that thing moving around. Oh, I know them. Wait, what do you mean? There's beings that are beyond your comprehension. There's beings that are translucent. There's beings that are on specks of dust. This whole universe is on smaller than a speck of dust. I've seen them in the lab. Whole universes. You think the planet's got to be big and the aliens got to land in a silver ship, and you know what I'm saying? See, there's so many different levels of life. There's matter, there's antimatter, there's things that we have a very small perception of knowledge. It's very, very small. We talk about it, well, couldn't it be any life on Jupiter because there's 2 blah, blah, blah. It's a nitromethane, blah, blah, blah. There's things that live in that nitromethane. Look over in Fukushima, right? Where the nuclear reaction, the problem was the reactor went crazy, whatever happened. Earthquake cracked the walls. Do you know when they went inside what they found inside the reactor?
What?
Black mold. But it wasn't the same black mold that we talk about as being bad. It was a black mold that was absorbing the radiation. It was eating it. Look it up. Look it up. Blew everybody's mind. The scientists decided they weren't going to tell everybody because, well, they may have told folks. People don't want to hear this. So you hear about black mold. Black mold is bad. No, there's some kind of black molds that are actually saving your life. There's all these mycelium and things that are here for different reasons. So my point is, if we focus on how bad it's going to be, it gets worse. If we focus on the evil and the devil and all of that kind of stuff, it gets worse. If you focus on how most women are this way, most men are that way. See, these concepts come from a small group of men who are destroying the feminine essence, because the feminine essence is magnetic. The feminine essence is where it's all at. And we've become so male. Look, let me tell you, I was at an event, and it was an event for women. And they asked me to come to speak. And they talked about how the women were going through this rites of passage and all this. So at the end, they said, well, Dr. B, can you give us a speech? And I said, well, how am I going to speak? Said, well, we want you to speak to the women and tell them. I says, first of all, I don't even know why I'm here. Why would you have a man come to a women's rites of passage to tell the women who they need to be? Y'all women need to get hip to this. I was wondering why all of a sudden I'm looking through the Bible at one point. And I said, well, where's the powerful women at? How come they ain't? I'm just looking at the book. I read everything. These women is questionable. Who created this? Obviously, men had to create this. Where are the women at? Because somebody has a concerted, message for women that you're less than. You're not more powerful. They don't pay women the same. You don't treat women the same, because we've become these people who have these huge ass egos that want to control everything. But that dark matter is feminine. You can't truly control it, because the feminine vibration is here now. And that's why it's 3 men going to be talking on the 7th, but we're not speaking just because we're men. We're going to be talking because our mothers came together and said, y'all going to do this. And we're going to open up a window so that you can see, so that you can go and grab that part of you that's been hidden, because the feminine dark matter is where all your stuff's at. So the men, we all have it. Men have it, women have it, and that's the place where the beauty is. That's where the art is. That's where the ark is. That's the Noah to Noah, your ark, and get 2 of these and 2 of those and put all these things together, 2 molecules, 2 of this animal, this thing, that being, this space, and put all those things together and find out how to stand in the middle of the wind. This thing is deep. So what we're going to do is teach people how to have, the love life they've always desired to have. How do you have it? It starts in you. I got to find something here. So, the thing is, on the 7th, what we're going to do is we're going to help people, experience radiant health. Radiant health.
I like that. I like that.
Sustainable wealth. Not you just wealthy, like me. I had a bunch of money at one time, and the next day I didn't have a dime, because I didn't know how to start my own bank and use these things that, that Billy Carson's talking about. I didn't have that knowledge. You see? So, sustainable wealth where you can pass it down and be a legacy. Because if you can't see your legs, you don't know what you're standing on. You just become a Negro and you only grow to the knees. You can't get up to the higher vibration because you didn't get it. But now there's going to be no excuse on how you are the bank, you are the bench, you are the judge, you are the prosecutor of your own court. We got to be in courtship with ourselves. We got to be powerful. And let me say this real quick. In order to have sustainable wealth, you can't get into this lack, limitation mindset. Lack, limitation, not enoughness. And, that costs too much. I can't afford this. I need stuff on sale. Can I get a discount? Can I blah, blah? See, what you're doing is you're discounting your true power and your true royalty by acting like you're poor, broken, lonely. And see, we act in a certain way because we want, we feel like we're supposed to get stuff, for free. We want reparations. You're going to get reparations on the 7th. You're going to learn how to repair yourself. You waiting on who? You waiting on the government to repair something? They're not going to do it. You have the power to repair yourself. There are cells in your body, genes that fix broken genes. Did you know that? There are genes that fix broken genes. Guess when they do it? Only when you command it. Mm-hmm. The mitochondria are waiting for you to say, we need more energy on this mission. But you're giving away more than we walk around leaking.
Leaking.
We're leaking. There's oil all over the floor.
Ooh, brother, what was that you took before the show? Because you're on fire. Which one specifically you took right before the show?
I took
you on fire tonight.
I took a little platinum.
You took the platinum? With the one with CBD in it?
No, this is the regular. I won't take no CBD tonight.
Your eyes. Yo, this dude is a trip, y'all. Yo, he dropped, man.
No, listen.
If this is a preview for the 7th, Jesus Christ.
The truth is, you've been taught to be a chronic professional leaker. Let me tell you how one way we leak. We got a great idea, and we tell everybody. We call our friends. I got a hell of an idea, man. Let me tell you something real quick. There was a man who worked in this building, and I think it was in New York, one of the major cities. And he had a beautiful family, wife and his son and daughter, and they were black. They lived in the projects, and they were just making ends meet. And he has this job working in the boiler room, right? That's the makes the heat and for the building. And he worked hard. And he was tired all the time, breathing in coal and oil and all this. And he had this one friend who was like I think he was the chief operations officer for this huge corporation. And he liked him. So he would come down and sit with Willie in the boiler room for lunch. They would eat together. So the man from the top floor would come to the bottom floor, to the basement, to talk to Willie. Because Willie is the will. He's the willer. He's the wizard. And one day, Willie comes up with an idea. Now, just keep this in mind. They had trains that went from one side of town to the other. And Willie comes up with the idea to have trains that run from one side of the country to the other. One state to the other. Trains, tracks, interconnected. He tells his wife. She says, Willie, you done lost your mind. You've been drinking again. I thought you had kicked the habit. You sound drunk. You're talking crazy. They ain't gonna let no black man do such a. You done lost your mind. And don't you be telling your boy Billy this. Don't you go in there and tell him this foolishness. Get his mind all messed up. He got to go to school and learn how to get a good job. And don't come home tonight wanting any. Because you talking crazy. Wanting any. You know what wanting any is. Don't come home wanting to arrive. Because you
ain't arriving that day.
You ain't arriving tonight talking this crazy talk. You're going to get us killed. They're going to come burn a cross on our damn land.
Willie ain't arrived.
This is the wife. She's protecting the family's, legacy. Just be quiet. Don't you tell nobody nothing like that. Willie goes to work. He's sad. His wife just stepped on him. And he's married to her. She basically, if he wants to arrive, with someone else, he got, you got to be, able to ride the train that she says you riding. No, you ain't riding. He's sad. The man from the top floor comes down to eat lunch with him. The man from the top floor is eating a prime rib steak sandwich. Willie's eating bologna, which is all whatever's left over at the end of the day. He got bologna and a banana. That's it. And the man says, well, Willie, you seem sad today. What's going on? Are you okay? Yeah, never mind. I don't even want to talk about it. No, what's going on? I'm your friend. I like to help you. What's happening? Well, let me tell you what had happened with me and my wife this morning. I had a good idea. And she says, really, what kind of idea? Well, and he tells the story. Trains and all this, and the trains is taking folks, and you can ride the train and look at the cows on the hillside. And the guy says, oh my God. And what did your wife say? Man, if I come home like this, man, shoot, I won't even get to arrive. She know how to shut down the oven on me, and she won't cook my macaroni and cheese with bacon bits in it. So I get mad. She got mad, told me don't tell my son. Oh God, Willie, I'm so sorry. That's just sad. I feel for you. Look, I'll be back tomorrow. We can talk about this again. Don't let it mess with you. This dude gets on the elevator. He gets on the private elevator that goes directly from the basement to the top floor. He gets on the telephone. He calls somebody that knows about land and the topography of land, and he knows about metal and tracks and trains and steam and steel. And he starts the first national train system in America. Wow. I don't want to say the names. But before he does, this is the important piece. And then we're gonna hang up on this one. He has this idea that he got from Willie. He goes down and gets it copywritten and trademarked, tells his wife. And what does the wife say? Oh my God. Oh, Jonathan, this is great. Oh, you're a genius. Are you going to tell your son, Billy? Tell Billy about this. Maybe Billy will be able to take over when you're gone. This is great. Then come home early, and when you get home, guess what? I've got many arrivals, and guess what? I've got a special lunch. Check it out. I've got a special lunch for you. He says, what's the extra lunch for? The secretary. Give her. She's been taking care of you at the job. We both want you to be great. So give her lunch for me. Now he's shagging with the secretary. The wife knows. When he gets home, before he even gets to the door good, his pants is slung off. Slung off. Oh, this is real though. Yeah. Do you see what's happening here? Mm-hmm. The dark feminine nature can be twisted and played with. Mm-hmm. One woman was feeling like she's protecting her family. So she wants to control the farm to make sure that the man is still a provider. She's doing what she's doing in fear. And the way she can control him is through the arrivals. But me on the other side, the other woman is saying, no, we got to promote. We got to promote what we have and pass it to your children. Now, before the story's all over, some people say, well, he stole it from the man. Well, actually, the man, he leaked it. He leaked it. He lucked it. He leaked it. Luck is the past version of leaked. You got bad luck. He leaked the information to his wife, to the man at the business. But one thing was good. When this man who started the company got his first big check, he bought Willie a house and a Cadillac. He did. This is real. He bought him a house and a Cadillac. And he made sure that he got a check, not a big one, but a piece, a royalty, 0.003% every year of this train system. My point here is that your ideas should stay sacred sometimes. Don't leak until you get it to a point where it's ready. You've got to hold on to it. You've got to learn how to take that and do what we're going to talk about on the 7th is the wave casting. How to take your idea and get it so strong where you send it into the quantum field where it will return 1,000-fold. When you invest, don't invest cheaply. You got to go for it. You got to take everything you've got and put it out there. And this whole thing of being broke, well, feeling like you don't have anything. See, the wealthy people, the reason why they're wealthy is because they feel like they have something. If you got $5, that's something. So to create wealth is to act like you've got good health and your mindset is focused on a goal. So you got to be goal-minded. So when I talk about, this whole thing of sustainable wealth, you're not going to be able to do that and be some cheap person. Now you got to know what to invest in. So to me, I my highest choice would have been, maybe 40 years ago that I could have went to a class like this. Do you know what it cost? What I have been through to get the information and the experiences that I have had and that I've been through that I can share? It's deep. If you knew what it cost for Brother Rich, what he has given to do what guy was telling me the other day, he knew Brother Rich would be outside on the corner. He knew him when he was young. He says he was on the corner in the rain and the snow with his keyboard. He was selling, he had a piano, and he was selling tapes on the corner. That's the hustle. He was focused. And I heard the music on the commercial because he did the music for the commercial. And I'm like, man, this guy is bad. I called him and said, man, did you do this? Well, what I did was blah, 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 blah. I said, wow. Because when you play music, it keeps you in that creative state.
Yeah.
When you do something that's something that you love, that's like a hobby, something that you do just for the art, whether it's, you could be knitting or you could be crocheting or, doing something all the time that's expanding your brain cells and your neurons so that you can arrive within yourself. You have to be married to yourself. You have to be ready to invest at the right time. You have to know how to know when and when to know how. So when you have the blueprint, there's no excuse. The shirt I have on is a blueprint shirt. It's a very special color. It's indigo. If you know anything about indigo and what indigo is all about and why that color is the color of your jeans, this is some powerful stuff because it has to do with work. It's a work ethic. You wear them as work pants. You got work to do. You got play to do. You got creation to do. So in this event, you will learn how to have limitless love, starting with yourself. Now, I don't know if you're going to do it. That's up to you, whether you go through the steps. But between Billy and myself, you will, for the first time, have a whole encyclopedia to draw from. Now, 9 hours is not a lot of time. Believe me, because we're going to take many, many years. It's like 90 years or 900 years worth of information and put it in this small space. And, for me, when I teach differently than when I'm just talking right now. I'm kind of wild. No, you're going to get specific steps. We're going to keep it fun, but also specific steps. And you will get the subconscious alignment. The subconscious alignment alone, when I was doing them, they were like $300 an hour to get subconscious alignment. People would pay for it because it changes their whole life. Mm-hmm. Would you invest that kind of money in something that's going to change your life so that you could get rid of the ghost that's in your head and the evil, right? And get rid of all the mental parasites. So it's the value is in what you put it in. If you say this is it and I'm going to be there, then be there and be live. Wear something comfortable. Get you a pen and pencil. Never mind just typing it into a computer. Write. And we're going to teach you how to scribe, how to write down your goals. You will receive the blueprint for God power. And that God power, guess what? It's already in you. You're going to tap into what you already have. You don't have to obtain anything. We don't have to go get anything. We got to use what's already in us. So I'm honored to be involved with this. I'm excited. I decided I'm not doing any more classes for the rest of the year. People are saying, well, Dr. B, when's your next class? I'm not doing anything else. Because right now, all the classes I have are online. The ones that I've done for the last couple of years, you can actually get them all now in one download at elevationtime.com. But this is the next level, the next degree. And for this to come through at this particular time, I mean, brother Rich, I'm just, I'm so thankful. I'm honored that you called me and chose me to be involved with this. I'm glad that I finally met Billy Carson. I've been hearing his name off and on, but I didn't really connect with him. It's like, this is my brother. I said, this is it's like we're like yin and yang and yin. You know, it's beautiful to have that. And we all have people around us who are helping with this situation. There's people all over the world who are right now saying they want to donate, they want to help because they know this is it. And it could not happen until January 2023. While folks are still, being, still getting over the whole holiday season, and they done dropped the ball on them. We're going to talk about that too, how they dropped the ball January 1st. They dropped the crystal ball, which puts you in a hypnotic trance. The whole New Year's thing, even a song that all dun, 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 dun. What kind of song is that? It don't sound happy. Is that a happy song? It's a war song. It's marching you into your own death. You're going to kill yourself. You're making a New Year's resolution that don't even make any sense because you don't have the tools to create a true, you haven't resolved, you haven't made a resolution with yourself until now. So this is the time. I am so excited. I'm pumped up. I am, but this is, I just, it's almost like I can't control myself. The birds have been talking to me. I went outside. The collard green plants was talking to me yesterday. It was like, yeah, B. They was waving. They was waving to me. Yeah, B. You on one now. We're going to grow.
You said the collard green plants. God damn it, Dr.
The deer. I got deer up in the backyard. The deer was looking over the fence. Yeah, B. Go. My neighbor came over, right? Man. My neighbor came over and said, I never really liked what you had going on because I don't know what you got going on. But, I feel like you're a good guy and you got something good to offer to the community. It's good things happening when you're moving in a good place. So who you're going to be with and what you do with it is going to change your life. You're going to create a legacy. It's your time. You got to grab it. Let's go.
Indeed. Family, I want to thank you all. For those who want to know about the link to get the ticket is at the top of the chat. It is also in the description of this video. And you're going to see the link continuously. But if you want to buy tickets today, you could go to the description of this video. You could click on the link at the top of the chat. This was an absolutely amazing discussion with the brother, Dr. B, Sirius. And I'm just, man, I'm hyped. I'm so energized after this show. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We got about 2,500 people still in the live chat. Family, thank you so much. We're going to end it there. And actually, Dr. B Sirius will be on Billy Carson's YouTube channel tomorrow. So if you want to hear the brother tomorrow, you can go to Billy Carson's YouTube channel. And what time is the show, Dr. B?
8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow evening. Historic. It will be historic. This will be historic.
Yes. Indeed. I'm going to be tuned in tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. But with that, family, I swear, thank you so much. Oh, what a magnificent show. I hope y'all took notes. I was talking about, I took notes on the leaking energy. You said something real quick about perception. What was the word you used? You said we have to have a controlled perception. What you said? Do you remember?
Did I say something? We have to, we got to.
He was in the zone, y'all.
I was in the zone.
But there was a certain phrase. There was a phrase. If somebody could write me that in the chat, what was the phrase he used about controlling our perception? Because somebody wrote it earlier, if y'all remember. If y'all don't, it's good. I'll just rewind it later. But Dr. B, leave them your contact info with your website to let them know one more time your magnificent products, how they could get in touch with you.
Elevationtime.com, elevation.time.com. And if you go to events, there is also a link to this event on our website in events. So elevationtime.com, we got classes and workshops there and products. Perceptions management is
management. That's what you said.
Perceptions management is what the governments have used for many years to control the people. They have been working to control what you see, how you see it, what you say, how you talk, based on perceptions management. And that's how you manage people. But guess what? Perception management is your natural tool. Once you're able to manage your perceptions, see, you got to manage your conception. You have to be ready to arrive in that orgasmic space that's happening every second of every day. The orgasm, aura is gold. The goldgasm. You see? So guess what? You'll have all the pieces. There'll be no excuse. None. Call your friends and let them know.
Man.
Let them know that this is it. The gate is open. And use it. You must use it. So much love, harmony, and guess what? Travel light, because most of that luggage is not even yours. You got to give it away. That stuff is on your boat. The cargo on your boat, most of it is not yours. So your car can't go because it's too heavy. Are you ready? Let's go. Much love to you all. Much harmony. I'll see you soon. See you tomorrow night with Billy Carson. Thank you very much.
See you tomorrow. Thank you,
love.
my brother. Amazing show. See you tomorrow on Billy's channel. Peace.